The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen. Christian Galeno is in this morning as Alex and Kevin continue with their time off ahead of Christmas.
All right, well, we begin with breaking news from overnight. What witnesses say started as a car fire quickly engulfed a building in Central Bakersfield. Take a look at this video sent into our newsroom. The flames broke out just around 1:15 this morning on Chester Avenue near 2nd Street. Witnesses say the garage that caught fire was connected to a marijuana dispensary. A video shows fire crews forced entry into the building using an electric saw. Now, no word yet on the extent of the damage. And less than 30 minutes later, another structure fire, this time at a Carl's Jr. in North Bakersfield. It started around 1:45 at the location on F Street and 30th Street. Both city and county fire crews responded to knock down the blaze. It's not yet clear how this fire started, but the roof of the building was badly burned from the flames.
Your time now is 5:03. Fresh warnings this morning to use caution during Christmas gatherings as states hit new pandemic records and hospitals scramble to secure therapies for patients. Still, Americans are forging ahead, enduring long lines for testing, determined to celebrate in person this year. And there's a bright spot as the FDA clears the way for the nation's first COVID treatment pill. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
Good morning, Maddie. Research shows the new antiviral pill from Pfizer is highly effective against severe illness, though it won't be widely available until production ramps up. It appears to fight off the Omicron variant, now found in all 50 states.
I'm trying to put this up.
This morning, families are coming together for Christmas with thoughts of Omicron hanging over many celebrations. White House COVID advisors say small gatherings with protections can go ahead.
We're really encouraging people to be vaccinated, to be boosted, and to practice all of those prevention strategies before they gather.
But large parties with unknown vaccination status are a no.
We urge you to stay away from those situations that could put you at a higher risk.
The words of caution as hospitals face a crushing wave of patients with new cases topping 200,000 2 days in a row. Nearly 1,400 people dying every 24 hours, with the unvaccinated paying the greatest toll.
It just feels like no one is listening. I'm begging you to please get vaccinated.
But there is new hope as the FDA clears the way for the nation's first COVID antiviral treatment pill. It should be available in days, though supplies will be limited for now.
In the early clinical trial data is that it's 90% effective at preventing hospitalization and death in unvaccinated populations. So this is something that could be game-changing.
The pills must be taken within 5 days of the start of symptoms, making early testing even more critical, just as tests are harder to access.
There should be more available, and this should already be anticipated.
The White House is racing to increase supply, trying to keep pace with the rapid Omicron surge. New studies out of the UK and South Africa suggest Omicron infections may be less likely to lead to hospitalization. Though medical experts caution we have to see how it plays out with our population, noting the sheer number of cases will increase hospital stays. In Washington, Alice Barr, 17 News.
Well, meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom yesterday announced the new steps California has taken in response to COVID-19 and the Omicron variant. Well, the governor says the state will provide up to 2 COVID tests to all public kindergarten through 12th grade students before they head back to class after the holiday break. He also announced the state's 2.5 million healthcare workers will be required to have their booster shots by February the 1st. Newsom says no other segment of the workforce is affected by the requirement.
Education news this morning. President Biden is extending the pause on student loan repayments for an additional 90 days. The payments were originally set to restart on February 1st, but now students will not have to start repaying back those loans until May 1st. Borrower balances have been frozen for most student loans since the beginning of the pandemic nearly 2 years ago.
Well, 17 News is your local election headquarters. California's new congressional maps approved Monday brought unexpected changes to the Central Valley and prompted one longtime congressman to bid for a new district. Republican Devin Nunes announced his retirement amid statewide redistricting, in which early drafts saw his district redrawn to be significantly more blue. Maps were solidified yesterday, and that district does appear to be more Democratic. Congressman Jim Costa's office told us Tuesday that played a role in his move to District 22. Costa, a Fresno native and former Bakersfield congressman, has been in Central Valley politics for over 40 years. Governor Newsom has up to 2 weeks after Nunes leaves office to call a special election for his seat.
In your 17 Crime Watch now, the American Red Cross continues to ask for the public's help finding a trailer full of relief supplies it says was stolen from its property in Northwest Bakersfield. It happened Monday night at the Red Cross offices on Gilmore Avenue, and it appears the thieves tried to make off with 2 trailers, but were only able to steal 1. The organization says the people who will really suffer from the theft are those in need of emergency help, such as those who lose everything in a fire. If you have seen a Red Cross trailer, you're asked to call the sheriff's office at 861-3110, and they'll take it from there.
And drunken driving, it's an issue that we take very seriously here at TV 17. We call the ongoing problem Kern's sober reality. Well, DUIs are spiking as we go into the holiday season, and the number of criminal convictions for driving under the influence nearly doubled since last year. Some blame the pandemic, others lenient state laws, but they all agree that everyone shares responsibility in preventing this heinous crime.
Crash after deadly crash, the crime continues to happen.
In 2021, I filed twice as many DUI fatality cases as I did in 2020.
Joined by 6 other district attorneys from San Diego County to Sacramento County, DA Zimmer said Kern County lost more than 26 people at the hands of impaired drivers so far in 2021. During the Christmas 2020 season, CHP reported 38 deaths due to driving under the influence in Bakersfield and over 573 DUI arrests. According to an American Addiction Center study, 2 in 3 Californians plan to stay overnight with family this Christmas in order to avoid falling victim to impaired drivers.
I always make sure I use the word crime because I feel like in the mainstream sometimes DUI isn't considered a crime, and it's an absolute crime.
A crime that Kern County's top prosecutor believes is taken too lightly in California.
And as I stood there with the grieving family members on the street and tried to assure one of the parents that we would do everything possible to seek justice for the death of his children, he said, "What difference would it make? Because the governor's just going to let the killer out anyway."
The most recent alleged DUI-related crime took the lives of siblings J.J. Malone and Kaylee Brown. The woman in question of the crime has prior under the influence history and is due back in court on January 4th.
To assure the public that the Kern County District Attorney's Office is continuing to aggressively prosecute, but we also want to call upon the public to please refrain from driving under the influence of alcohol, under the influence of marijuana, or under the influence of drugs.
Now, California Highway Patrol has many tips to prevent this senseless crime. You can find those on our website, kgt.com. And a reminder, CHP is once again stepping up enforcement, looking for intoxicated or distracted drivers over the holiday weekend. The maximum enforcement period will begin at 6 p.m. tomorrow, and it will last through midnight on Sunday.
Turning now to your 17 Court Watch, a former McFarland High School basketball coach who allegedly tried to arrange a meeting with a minor for sex has had his bail revoked after the judge said he posed a threat to the public. Fernando Pruneda, who has a prior conviction in a similar case, was arrested last month. He was free on $75,000 bail before yesterday's ruling, but is now back in custody. Pruneda has pleaded no contest to 3 felonies related to contacting a minor to commit a sexual offense. He was previously sentenced to 2 years for the same crime in a case from 2018.
Well, a Kern County firefighter appeared in court yesterday for arraignment accused of possessing more than 500 images of child pornography. 35-year-old Christopher Vega was arrested Monday, and detectives say the images were found on devices seized from Vega's home and his work. Vega entered a plea of not guilty and is being held on a $2 million bail.
17 Crime Watch now, a phone scam is circulating targeting area businesses. The Kern County Sheriff's Office says at this time the subject appears to be calling doctors' offices, claiming they're employed by KCSO and have a civil matter to discuss with the doctor. This is a scam. KCSO does not handle court-order civil matters over the phone and would never ask for any form of payment or personal information. If you receive suspicious telephone calls that you believe to be a scam, you're urged to contact KCSO at 861-3110 or your local law enforcement agency to report the incident.
Meantime, the search continues this morning for a missing teenager. This is 17-year-old Ricardo Serrato. He was last seen last Thursday around 6:15 p.m. on Pacific Street, just south of Highway 178. He was wearing a red Hollister shirt, gray sweatpants, and carrying a black backpack. He is described as being about 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing about 115 pounds. BPD says Serrato is considered at risk because he has no prior history of running away. If you've seen Ricardo Serrato, you are asked to call police at 327-7111.
This morning, musicians are paying tribute to Merle Haggard while advocating for water back in the Kern River. 45 years ago today, the Kern River passed from private hands into partial public ownership. Several generations of Bakersfield residents have died since that purchase, all having witnessed a series of disappointing setbacks in the fight to restore a flowing river. Those who've lost include the legendary Merle Haggard, who lived by the river and wrote songs about it. With the State Water Board currently holding a hearing to resolve water rights disputes on the Kern, musicians are uniting to pay tribute to Haggard and to use his music to protest the river being dry. The artists are recording their own covers of Kern River Blues to raise awareness about the riverbed. To hear the songs, visit kget.com. 'Tis the season for awkward conversations with your family. A new survey shows that 1 in 3 adults are dreading the awkward conversations that always pop up during family gatherings.
Well, the survey found that the most frequently asked questions surround matters of the heart. Questions like, why aren't you married? And when are you going to have a baby? Well, those who responded to the survey also say their in-laws top the list of people who are most annoying to be around.
Ouch, I love my in-laws. That is not true for me. But I will say, I just learned throughout the years that these questions are super well-meaning, but can be hurtful. So to think about, maybe just refrain. Ask a different question. I think maybe you're trying to show interest in their lives and that you love them and care about them, but there are better ways. And just think about why those questions could maybe be hurtful.
I think this is the year where we challenge the in-laws to just figure out a different question to ask at the Christmas table.
Exactly.
Let's do that. Well, a new poll from the University of Michigan Health found that 1 in 5 parents are stressed out over the holidays, with moms feeling the pressure almost twice as much as dads.
Experts say parents should reevaluate traditions and openly communicate with their kids to see what's really important to them. For example, ask them to list favorite memories from past holidays. That way parents can prioritize long to-do lists and let go of what's not necessary. Spreading holiday cheer. All right, so yeah, that's a great idea. I know it can get overwhelming. My motto this year has been like, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done, but I want to enjoy the time with my family. That's the top priority. And maybe that means lounging around on the couch a little bit more, reading stories and stuff. So
yeah,
that's nice.
Especially after the year we've had, obviously, it's just nice to be gathered with family and just take it easy.
100%.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.